Welcome everyone, this is your own channel Learner Saga. In this video we will discuss paragraph number 10 to 14 of the chapter 9, The Bond of Love. But before we start, I like to request you to press the like button, subscribe the channel if you are new, and also to share and comment on the video. So without wasting any time, let's begin. In our previous two videos, we have discussed how the narrator found the sloth bear and how he gifted that to his wife. They christened that sloth bear Bruno. Bruno did two mistakes. Firstly, here you can see he accidentally ate that barium carbonate, that is the white salt, to kill the rats. And what happened? He began to feel paralyzing effect in his body, and when the narrator and the family understood this fact, they rushed to the doctor. And from there we have to start now. In paragraph number 10, you can see the doctor is saying, "Hold him everybody, in goes the hypodermic." That means the doctor, after finding what is to be given to Bruno to cure him from the ill effect of that poison, white salt, the doctor now is trying to put the injection in his body. Hold him everybody, in goes the hypodermic. What is hypodermic? You can see here a long needle used to give an injection under the skin. So this is a particular kind of injection. The doctor, with the use of this hypodermic, inserts a particular medicine into the body of the sloth bear Bruno. Bruno squeals. Squeals means here you can see he shouts. Bruno squeals means he shouts. 10 cc of the antidote enters his system without a drop being wasted. 10 minutes later, condition unchanged. Although 10 cc of the antidote means which acts as the anti-venom. So this antidote enters his body, but after 10 minutes, yet it not created any kind of any sign of betterment. Another 10 cc injected. 10 minutes later, breathing less stertorous. So the doctor again inserted another 10 cc of that particular medicine and waited for 10 minutes again. After 10 minutes, so 10 minutes before and now 10 minutes also, that means after injecting 2 times 10 cc plus 10 cc, 20 cc of that particular antidote, after waiting for 20 minutes, what happened? The breathing less stertorous. Less stertorous means here noisy breathing. Okay, as in case of snoring, while a person is in deep sleep, the person can sleep. The person usually snores, but here the stertorous process is less, breathing less. That means initially Bruno was taking in air and taking out air, making a loud noise, but now this procedure has lessened. Bruno can move his arms and legs a little, although he cannot stand yet. So the effect already is there. The medicine is working probably. That's why he is able now to move his arms and legs, although he cannot stand still. 30 minutes later, Bruno gets up and has a great feed. So this is definitely a very good news. After 30 minutes, the sloth bear Bruno, he gets up into his feet and has a great feed. That means he ate a lot. He looks at us disdainfully, as much as to say, "What's barium carbonate to a big black bear like me?" Bruno is still eating. So after regaining his health, after regaining his vivacity, Bruno probably wanted to say to the narrator and the family disdainfully, that means you may say scornfully, or uh, in an anger, angrily, you may say that, "What's barium carbonate to a big black bear like me?" That means I'm a very big black bear, and a poison like white salt or barium carbonate is of no use. Okay. Another time, he found nearly 1 gallon of old engine oil, which I had drained from the sump of the Studebaker, and was keeping as a weapon against the inroads of termites. So we have already discussed initially that Bruno uh, had two mishaps. The first mishap was to eat the white salt. Now the second incident. What happened? He found nearly 1 gallon of old engine oil, which the narrator had drained from the sump. Sump means the tank. You can write it. Sump means tank. The tank of the Studebaker. What is Studebaker? It is given in your book, an old American car. So the American car Studebaker's engine oil, the narrator um, drained, and he kept it as a weapon against the inroads of the termites, so that the termites may not enter hither and thither. That's why the narrator was keeping that engine oil. He promptly drank the lot, but the poor Bruno, without understanding that what is he drinking, he drinks the total engine oil. He promptly drank the lot, the maximum portion of that engine oil. But it had no ill effects whatever. But fortunately, it did not create any disturbance for the poor Bruno. The months rolled on, and Bruno had grown many times the size he was when he came. Definitely, Bruno, the sloth bear, the race of the sloth bear is to become very big in size, and he did. He had equaled the Alsatians in height and had even outgrown them. When the narrator first time uh, brought Bruno, he was very small in size, smaller than the two Alsatians that the narrator had. But right now, he is nearly the size of the Alsatians, or maybe a bit bigger than the Alsatians. But as just as sweet, just as mischievous, just as playful. But the narrator says that however his size has increased, but he is still so much sweet, mischievous, and playful as he was when he brought him first time. And he was very fond of us all. Above all, he loved my wife, and she loved him too. She had changed his name from Bruno to Baba, a Hindustani word signifying small boy. As we have already discussed in our first video, that our writer, although he is a British, but uh, he was born in India, and he spent a lot of time in India. That's why the Hindustani word, he said that Hindustani boy, small boy. Probably he had the close connection with the Hindustani family. That's why Hindustani name Baba. And he could do a few tricks too. What are the tricks? Let's see. At the command Baba wrestle or Baba box, he vigorously tackled anyone who came forward for a rough and tumble. That means if the narrator or the wife of the narrator command him that Baba wrestle, he understood that what is wrestling. He vigorously tackled. Vigorously means forcefully. Tackle means you can see here took hold of. He forcefully took hold of anyone who came forward for a rough and tumble, and thereby he would tumble that person. Tumble means stumble. Or if anyone asked him to box, he also did the same thing. What? He forcefully took hold of that person who came forward to him, and then he pushed that person, thereby the person fell down or stumble. Give him a stick and say, Baba, hold gun, and he pointed the stick at you. You can understand this, that if he is asked to hold a gun, he acted in the right posture, as if he is holding a gun. Taking a stick, he acted as if he is taking a gun. Ask him, Baba, where is baby? And he immediately produced and cradled affectionately a stump of wood which he had carefully concealed in his straw bed. And if someone asked him that, Baba, where is your baby? Just cradle him. He pretended as if taking a baby in his lap and thereby trying to caress him. And he usually hide that stick in his straw bed. But because of the tenant's children, poor Bruno or Baba had to be kept chained most of the time. Yes, this is very pathetic on part of the poor Bruno, because the tenant's children were there probably out of security. For the security reason, he had to be chained most of the times. Then my son and I advised my wife, and friends advised her too, to give Baba to the zoo at Mysore. Now, from this paragraph, the story takes a turn. This incident would be a long-lasting effect. Okay, let's study. What happened? The narrator's son and the narrator himself advised his wife, and their friends also advised her to give the sloth bear Bruno to the zoo at Mysore. Why? Because he was getting too big to keep at home. You can understand that a sloth bear is a very big animal, so it is not generally preferable to keep him as a pet. After some weeks of such advice, she at last consented. Although initially she was not supporting that view, but after a long negotiations, after a long time, she understood and she gave her consent. Hastily, and before she could change her mind, a letter was written to the curator of the zoo. Hastily means very quickly. Very quickly, they wrote a letter to the curator of the zoo. Curator means who looks after the zoo. And did he want a tame bear for his collection? Asking the curator that whether he was in need of a tame bear for his zoo. He replied, yes. The zoo sent a case from Mysore in a lorry, a distance of 87 miles, and Baba was packed off. So all this happened all of a sudden this happened. The curator sent a cage from Mysore in a lorry, and the distance from Mysore and their house was 87 miles. Baba was packed off means the sloth bear was sent. We all missed him greatly, but in a sense we were relieved. Although they missed that pet animal, although he was a wild animal, but they were keeping them as pet. They missed that sloth bear greatly. But in a sense, we are relieved. Yes, they were relieved also, because that's such a big animal they were keeping in their house. All the time it has to be chained, and all those the children were there. So the question of security was definitely there. Now they are feeling very relieved. My wife was inconsolable. Inconsolable means who cannot be consoled. She was lamenting. She wept and fretted. Definitely, she was in close connection with that bear. She loved that bear very much. That's why she wept, she cried, and fretted. Fretted means, you can write, she became anxious, okay, or irritated. For the first few days, she would not eat a thing. Then she wrote a number of letters to the curator. How was Baba? Back came the reply as well, but fretting. He refuses food too. So when the uh, wife of the narrator wrote a wrote a number of letters to the curator asking how was Baba, how was Bruno, how was the sloth bear, the curator replied that well, he is well, but fretting. Fretting means, as we have already understood, that to become anxious or irritative. So like the the narrator's wife, Bruno was also fretting. He refuses food too. So this is very tormenting for the wife of the narrator. Now, what they would do, we will discuss this in our next video. In this video, we have discussed from paragraph number 10 to 14, and in our following videos, we will discuss the remaining portion also. But before leaving, I like to request you to comment on the video that how did you like it or not, or if you have any question, etc, etc. Okay, so hoping to meet you in our next video. Goodbye.